Hello, my name is Lord Surtr and I bring you the EVE Online Amarr Level 4 Solo Ship Mission Tier List. That's a mouthful. So, I went through all of the ships in my testing over the past year, but I did notice there are some terms and conditions that do apply. The first one of them is I try to be as objective as possible in my testing of these ships. For solo level 4 security missions, some bias might creep in, but I'm sure you can point that out below. The fits are a reasonable price. I've tried to stay cheap wherever I can. No more than 3 warp outs were used. More than 3 warp outs, ship fails. No implants used at any stage. But these fits do not apply to burners and most ships work in groups, even the ones that failed my list. So without further ado, let's get on to the actual tier list. So I'm gonna rank them from D to S. There is no F tier because in the Amarr case there is no fail. Some ships didn't make it on the list. Mostly the Tech 1 cruisers, they're just a little out of depth over here. So I'm gonna rank them tier by tier, so I'm gonna start at the bottom with what in my opinion is D tier. So let's get started. First off, I will start off with the Damnation. So the Damnation is, weirdly enough, a Tech 2 ship. It is a command ship. Now, the Damnation has a very good tank. Excellent tank, very tough ship, but it suffers majorly in terms of low DPS and low speed. It is a very slow ship, it is bulky. With heavy assault missiles you can get some DPS out of it, but you're lucky if you reach your target because it's just so slow. So it will run the mission, just not very fast. I would say heavy missiles are recommended here because the ship is too slow for heavy assault. So that's the Damnation, which is the first ship on D tier. So second, I would go for a Tech 1 battle cruiser, which would be the Harbinger. Now, the Harbinger has Tech 1 resists, so it's fairly squishy. It is the positives are essentially it's very good as a beam laser sniper, especially if you use a jump drive to get out of dodge when stuff gets too close or something succeeds in pinning you down, or if you just cannot track. It is not just for movement; it is also to escape and zip onto a good spot for sniping. The negatives are very obvious. It has a very weak tank. So yes, you can run the mission. You might need a few skills, and you will have to be very careful and extremely careful in certain missions. Not optimal, but it works. Best of the fits that I've tested so far and could come up with was a combination of beam lasers, macro jump drive, and an afterburner for the short distances. I would say the Harbinger though is an excellent choice if you want to stick to Amarr and lasers and do level 3s, for example. It's just a little underpowered for the level 4s. And then the last ship in the D tier would be the Oracle. For obvious reasons. It does not get a flight of drones. It is a Tech 1 battlecruiser. A tier 3 attack battlecruiser, sure, but it has battleship guns. So it has battleship beams, battleship sized pulse lasers on it, which has its advantages. It hits really hard, especially for big targets. Positives are, of course, it has excellent DPS, it has good range as well, and I would use it with a micro jump drive again to move around, to zip across the battlefield on a cooldown, don't forget to spool up also. Because if you put a micro warp drive on this, it will die because of signature and not being able to escape the frigates. No drones. So if you use an afterburner, it's going to be too slow, and same issues will apply. So it has essentially a weak tank, no drones, and it's very hard to deal with frigates. Skill requirements, I would say medium. I didn't mention that for the previous two. The Damnation, I would say skill requirements high. Harbinger low, and the Oracle medium. Best fits for the Oracle would be the Beam long range sniper and the Pulse medium range with a jump drive still, because you just need it to survive in this thing. So that means that I can move on to C tier now. And C tier we go again with the Harbinger Navy issue, which is the straight up upgrade from this one. I could technically put these maybe above each other, makes it real clear. So the Harbinger Navy issue is a faction battlecruiser. Still take 1 resists, a little bit more hit points. So the best way to play this ship that I've tested and found out again is once again beam laser sniper, jump drive to get out, afterburner to move. It's almost an exact copy, except it adds a little bit better tank and a little bit better DPS. And that's about it. It is a straight up upgrade if there ever was one. So the negatives I would say is the average tank, no longer the super low tank, it's now average. Skill requirements still low. Best fit would be for me the beam sniper, 10 mega newton afterburner macro jump drive. And then next up we have another Tech 1 battlecruiser in the Prophecy. So the Prophecy can be used with any weapon system. This ship does not have any bonuses to anything in the high slots. You can put lasers on this, autocannons, missiles, whatever you want. What I found to work the best for me personally was the rapid light missile launchers. Yes, you have a long reload, but they deal extremely well with small frigates and like the annoying stuff you need to kill while your drones are at range doing the heavy lifting. Because this ship is a drone boat. The main DPS are the drones. It has a decent tank and a decent DPS. The weird thing about this is the drone bandwidth is incredibly strange. I believe it's 75 megabits. So the optimal setup is like 2 heavies, 2 mediums and 1 light, I believe, if you want the most out of it, most DPS, most application. It has an average tank, that's also a positive and a negative. Skill requirements I would say low to medium, because it's like a mixed platform with the drones and whatever weapon system you put on there, so mixed. The rapid light missile, 100 mega newton afterburner kiting setup is what I would run with. So next up will be our first true battleship, the Apocalypse. So for the Apocalypse, I mean, I gotta be honest, it's not a very strong ship, but it looks amazing. And it is where the road to the Paladin kinda starts. So you've got decent DPS, you've got great range, and it works. The Apocalypse is basically a pure sniper battleship. It has a very weak tank. It needs the micro jump drive to survive. I have actually lost one with a micro warp drive trying to test it, well, running missions. I just could not get away and it ended up dying. So the skill requirements for this one I would put at low. But if you want to be good with this, I would say at least medium. It's an entry level that's low essentially. The best fit for me would always be with beams for the Apocalypse. I would never run the Tech 1 Apocalypse with pulse, because then you need to be too close to your targets, and there we go. You need to tank more. And then the 100 MN afterburner macro jump drive, basically the classic afterburner jump drive I put on like sniper ships, unless I can get away with a micro warp drive. So this is a very good sniper with a big tank. The next one is a bit of an oddball. It can do level 4s. I would not use it for level 4s. It might be a little expensive for the power level that it has. It is the Black Ops battleship for the Amarr, the Redeemer. So this is a definitely has decent DPS, works best with beam, works best as a sniper. Now this has Tech 2 resists, so the tank is a little bit higher. It is very expensive for what it does. The tank is a little bit better, but still weak. The skill requirements, obviously it being a Black Ops, are quite high. I mean, basically Paladin level. So choose between this and a Paladin, get a Paladin. Don't hesitate, don't look back. If it's for PvE, if it's for PvP, well, that depends on what you intend to do. So the best setup for this one, I would say, once again, beam laser, afterburner, macro jump drive. And then the next ship in the C tier, yeah, I don't have them in any specific order. I have them in the order that I wrote them down and tested them, basically. So here we have the Zealot, or the Zealot. Awesome redesign. I love the redesign of the model, by the way, for Legion. So this is our first heavy assault cruiser. So this thing, the Zealot, has great DPS. Assault damage control, you also have the option to fit that one for close calls. I would suggest it. In the second version and after the rework and everything, I noticed that I hardly ever needed it or wanted it on the ship. But believe me, if your skills are not max or really high, you want that assault damage control. It buys you precious seconds. So the negatives would obviously be, it has a rather weak tank. It's gotten better with Legion. Much better. But it's still weak. So the skill requirements I would put at medium to high. The best fun that I've had with this is a pulse fit with a 10 MN afterburner. Basically short medium range brawler almost. It has a flight of drones, so that really helps it. The reason I have an issue with a beam Zealot is fitting. If you want to fit a beam laser Zealot, you're going to have bad tracking, you're going to use up, I believe, most of your power grid, and you're going to have a very hard time putting anything of a tank on it. You can put a passive tank on it, or no, not a passive, basically a buffer tank for PvP in big fleets, sure. But no active tank for PvE, does not fit. This ship, the Zealot, I see as the definition of a heavy assault cruiser. It's literally what it says. It has the really heavy assault part nailed down. It just doesn't take it very well. But maximum DPS. So the next one would be one that not just me, but I know a couple of people that were playing around with this one have definitely grappled with. I mean, to come up with a really good fit that shines, that would be the other tier 1 battleship, the Abaddon. I'm also going to put that in C tier, even though this is one of my favorite hulls in terms of looks for battleships. It looks amazing. I wish this deployed as a Marauder, like with the broadside, sexiest broadside in the game, by the way. So this has decent DPS and decent range with the beam lasers. Negatives would be bad capacitor. getting this thing cap stable. I know, luxury, but always aim for it. It eases your mind if you forget to turn off or forget something about the ship. It survives, you know. Like, the other major downside is it has, well, I may be off. I believe it may have around 18 engines, and somehow it is the slowest ship that I know of battleship size. It's incredibly slow, and you cannot make it go fast without with having a good fit remaining. So the skill requirements, I would say medium, because it's not an easy ship, but it needs extremely good capacitor skills and fitting skills, because you are definitely gonna need to take everything out of this. So the fits that I ran with was a beam dual armor repair fit. That worked quite well, but tells the second rep you are not cap stable. Then I also ran with a pulse dual armor repair fit, same thing, not cap stable. And then I came up with another fit, and that's the one that I ended up running with, which is my absolute favorite, but I would say medium to high skills for all the minor things about it. It's a beam laser ship with a single powerful armor repair. The reason that I could get this one cap stable is I did not go for the mega beams or tachyon beams. No, I went for the smallest size battleship beam lasers, and that actually manages to finally get it cap stable. So there we go. My conclusion is essentially it needs an excellent capacitor skills, decent DPS with a decent tank. Looks are amazing. So if you don't play for efficiency, you play for looks, this might be an option. Looks. So next up, I have like a couple of ships, because these don't really differ very much. Now we go for the recon ships. And yes, I know they are not meant to run missions, but they can. So first up, we have the Curse. So the Curse is the Force recon ship, which means that this is the one that cloaks. This one can fit a cover-topped cloak. And for any of the recon ships, both the Curse and the Pilgrim, you can, for PvE, safely ignore the recon ship skill level. All you need is Amarr Cruiser 5, because that's where the drone DPS bonus is. The others are for NOS and capacitor warfare, and you don't really use that here. So the positives for this one is its DPS comes from its drones for the most part, and it is good at kiting. So basically just dragging everything around, moving around quite fast. The negatives are it has a very weak tank, and you survive only through kiting. Skill requirements, I would say, are high, not because of the recon, but for the Amarr Cruiser and the fact that you need to kite and really want your armor tanking skills on point. My best fit with this one, which in my opinion would probably be kind of the only one, because if you fit heavy missiles on this, you're gonna run into fitting issues, and let's just say they do even lower DPS. So the Rapid Light Missile Drone Afterburner fit, because you're kiting with your drones and your afterburner, and anything that gets through your screen you can still get rid of reasonably well with the Rapid Light Missile launchers, even unbonused. It's perfect for killing frigates. So this is a decent kiter with drones supported by Rapid Light Missiles. I did not have a good time with the Curse or the Pilgrim, by the way. It's more of a challenge ship than a fun ship to fly for missions. But if that's your thing, and you're like me, just go for it. The next one would be the Pilgrim. Here we have the Combat Recon ship, and the Combat Recon ship is the one that does not show up on directional scan. This one cannot fit a Covertop's cloak, but not showing up on directional scan let's just say wormhole-ish, maybe Pochfin, has its advantages. It really has. Not in PvE though, as far as I know. Although you can rat in this thing and not be seen as long as, well, no wrecks appear and you don't launch drones. Anyway, this focuses the same as the other one on drone DPS and kiting. It has a very weak tank, same thing. High skill requirements apply, still recon ship skill doesn't matter, Amarr skill does, tank skill very much does, drone skill also very much does. That's what I forgot to say with the previous one. You need your drone skills high, because this thing needs all the DPS it can put out. The main difference would be that this one uses lasers. So this one, the best fit that I could come up with is the pulse laser drone afterburner fit. So this is again a decent kiter with drones supported by pulse lasers. And here we end the C tier, because this is the last ship that I can say was kinda bad. I mean, I consider D tier to be barely capable. If you have a lot of patience, D tier, it's kinda bad. C tier, I would say they can do it. It will go a little bit smooth, not a lot. C tier is, yes, average, okay. B tier is what I would say is good, like very comfortable, good, definitely go for it. So the first thing in the B tier would be for me the Absolution. So the Absolution is again an Amarr command ship. It is the direct upgrade if you continue the line, like Harbinger Navy issue Absolution. So this thing can bring links to the field, the others as well, but I wouldn't fit them because you give up too much and you need every fit on that one. So here you can provide links if needed. You have very good range and very good DPS on the Absolution. You have Tech 2 resistances and a very strong capacitor on this one. The negatives, as for any laser based ship, you are damage locked into EM thermal. It does say something that I couldn't come up with any other real negatives, other than it's just not good enough. It's just not as good as this. There's just nothing blatantly negative about this ship. I would say high skill requirements with it being a command ship. So I've got a couple of fits for this one, the beam laser macro jump drive sniper version with an afterburner included as well, and the pulse laser dual armor rep brawler fit. So this is essentially a overall good ship with excellent tanking and damage capabilities. And then we go to our really solid platform, the Armageddon. So the Armageddon, that's a tier 1 battleship, so tier 1 resists. So this is a very good sniper with cruise missiles, for example. It is decent mid-range with rapid heavies. And of course, most of its damage will come from its drone bay. Although, don't underestimate the missiles. So this is a average tank, this is not a brawler. So it's basically mid-range / long-range kiter sniper, whichever you want to do. You can put sentries in this thing as well. But with sentries you can pin yourself a bit down a bit, so it's situational. This is a very versatile ship. So the skill requirements I would say are low to medium, with it being a Tech 1 ship and suitable to be molded to whatever you want, really. So my preferred ones are the Cruise Geddon and the Rapid Heavy Missile Launcher Geddon. So this is a very versatile ship. It's armor tanked and it's a very good sniper. I would suggest missiles. You can put lasers on this. but beware of your capacitor. So next up would be the Devoter, which would be our first Amarr model and heavy interdiction cruiser. So this is maybe an odd one to some. Let me find it. Here it is. Devoter. Also, this thing looks really solid. This is the redesign makes the ship so big, so chunky. It looks nice, honestly. So this thing has a very good DPS, a good tank, and it also has a flight drones to take care of frigates, which is a very nice luxury to have. The negatives don't come up in many. Damage locked, EM turtle. So the skill requirements for this one, I would say, are high. Not just because of the ship. The best fits that I could... Essentially, I've got two fits with this. One beam laser micro warp drive fit and one pulse laser micro warp drive fit. They both work. They both do the job. They're both good. So this is a fun ship to fly and a good tank. Overall, good ship. Then we have the other model of the Amarr, the Sacrilege. I also put the Sacrilege in B tier. We'll get to that. It's a heavy assault cruiser, so good DPS. But this is a bit more of the defensive part of the heavy assault cruiser, whereas the Zealot is kind of the embodiment of the offensive part. So this has a absolutely great tank, and it does good DPS at medium to short range. So I didn't list any negatives, which means that the ship is just overall decent and good. Skill requirements I would put at medium. So fits wise, I would say it's a heavy missile launcher, 10 MN or 50 MN, whichever one you like to fly. That's the one that has a bit more range, but it sacrifices in DPS essentially. It also gets better application obviously than the other version, which would be the heavy assault missile 50 MN micro warp drive. And that one needs the micro warp drive because heavy assault missiles are just too short range. But they delete battleships. So solid pick. Overall, a good ship. Cannot go wrong with the Sacrilege. So the next up in the list would be the Prophecy Navy issue. So that's a faction battlecruiser, still Tech 1 resists, a bit better tank than a Prophecy. So this one is very different, honestly. This one focuses on laser and drone damage. So this one has actually really good laser DPS and decent drone damage. It has an average tank though, so I would say the tank is too weak for brawling, and it only gets a flight of medium drones. So the Prophecy actually gets more drone bandwidth than the Prophecy Navy issue. The Prophecy Navy issue focuses a lot more on lasers. Skill requirements, low. The best fits for this I would consider to be a beam laser sniper fit, with the drones as extras. So you can kite and just use the drones to kill, and not the lasers of the main weapon. So this is a Prophecy with a focus on lasers over drones and improved stats. So the last ship that I put in the B tier is one that I have a bit of conflicting issues with, because I didn't want to make a tier between A and B just for this ship, because that's kind of where I would put it, because this ship is the Legion, and I'm not sure. I'm inclined to the Legion is definitely the best of B tier. The problem with ranking the Legion is it's a strategic cruiser. You can make so many different fits with this thing. So I would say the positives of this is it has a good tank, decent DPS, can fit lasers or missiles. The one reason that I would put it in A tier is because of the missile subsystem. The accelerated ejection bay, I believe it's called. No, I could be wrong. Because the missile subsystem gives the ship the ability to field a flight of medium drones. And that is very valuable. Because those things can actually kill frigates as well. As well as the fact that missiles apply to everything, so also much better. Because lasers, that's the way I get to the negative, and the reason I dropped it to B tier. Lasers have a very hard time tracking frigates. Once frigates get close to you, you're going to have to make a lot of compromises in your fitting and possibly DPS to go full on for tracking and webifying, because you're not going to hit the frigates, and if that frigate is one that warp disrupts you and you cannot hit it, you're going to just sit there. The tank is great, so you'll just be sitting there until you bring in another character or somebody liberates you or downtime happens. Not fun. So the skill requirements I would put at medium, but it kind of depends. If you go lasers, I would put it at medium/high because tracking is absolutely critical. The fits that I tested with this and came up with is like a beam pulse laser fit. They both work, but they don't have drones, so I mean, it's up to you. The fits that I've always done is the heavy assault missile or the heavy missile launcher fits. And you can fit those with, you can choose even, it has a lot of room for fitting with the 10 MN or the 100 MN afterburner. And the 100 MN gives you pretty bad agility when it's on, but it will give you really good straight line speed. Just take a while to get going though. So this ship is between A and B tiers. Very versatile ship with good tank and good DPS. And then we have 3 ships remaining. That was B tier. Let's move on to the A tier. And yes, this will be the Apocalypse Navy issue. So this ship is a faction battleship. Still Tech 1 resists, a bit more tank than the Apocalypse. This is once again to continue the tradition of the Apocalypse. It's a very good sniper with beam lasers. And it is actually decent mid-range with pulse. More skills needed to fly the pulse efficiently because you need to tank more, so you just need to be a little better. So the negative would be a average tank and not a very good brawler. Mid-range, not brawler. Skill requirements I would say are low for the sniper version and medium for the pulse version. So the fits that I tested was the pulse micro warp drive fit for medium skills and the beam sniper afterburner jump drive beam laser. Basically just hit it from afar. So this is a straight up upgrade from the Apocalypse and it's an excellent sniper. The next one, the last for the A tier already, would be the Armageddon Navy issue. So the Armageddon Navy issue is also a faction battleship, so a little bit more DPS and damage from this one. So this has very good drone DPS, supported by, and you can choose here, lasers or missiles. This, in my opinion, plays best as a mid to long range ship. So probably like beam lasers, although not the best version. The bonuses changed a while back, I mean a long time ago, many years ago. So I would say I use cruise missiles or rapid heavies if I want to go medium range for the most part. So this ship is not a brawler. It has a decent tank, but it does not have a tank worthy of being in the middle of everything. So the laser versions have a damage lock EM thermal again. Missiles don't get that. Skill requirements I would definitely put at medium. because of all the like mixed damage stuff. There's drones, there is missiles or lasers, and yeah. So the fits were a beam or pulse laser fit with a 100 mm afterburner, and possibly a jump drive, your choice. And the rapid heavy missile launcher or cruise missile fit, also jump drive. You can put it on, you can leave it. Probably can replace it with a guidance computer or something in the trend, or a target painter if you want, or something else. And an afterburner. So this essentially is a very versatile ship, even more than a regular Armageddon. You can use this with heavies or with sentries, with lasers or with missiles. So overall, a very good sniper and excellent ship. So the 8th tier is what I would call the really good ships, like they're really good to run missions with. And then we have what I would call the, I have to maybe name this M instead of S, because now we get to the pinnacle of PvE, Marauders. So the Paladin, the S tier, the Marauder tier. Positives of the Paladin. Well, what isn't positive? You've got Bastion. Bastion is amazing. It is awesome. It makes you repair so much more. It makes your damage and your range increase by a lot. And on top of that, seriously, versus came out. Sorry for that. I may edit that out in later. So great DPS and range with lasers. This is very much a laser platform. So the negatives of the Paladin. While Bastion is active, you cannot move. You're stuck in place. You cannot receive armor repairs, remote armor repairs, local repairs, of course. Remote armor repairs, not possible. So the other major negative is damage locked. You've got EM thermal on your lasers, but that is offset by its pure damage output. This thing doesn't care. This thing really does not care. It just blasts and kills whatever comes before it. So the skill requirements for the Paladin are of course very high. The fits, well, can be fit in a lot of ways. You can fit as a beam laser sniper with extreme range. I wouldn't suggest it. It's not the highest DPS. It's not that optimal, but it works. What I run, and I believe most people run, is a pulse laser fit. Essentially, I use a macro warp drive or an afterburner on my Paladin. I'm not 100% whether I have a jump drive fitted. No, I don't. So pulse medium range, and medium range for a Paladin means beyond 100 kilometers. Because you're a Marauder. You're the best. So this is the absolute pinnacle of energy turret PvE. Best laser ship for high-sec, best laser ship for missions, best Amarr mission ship. Period. So that's it. This is the finished Amarr tier list. We've got 20 ships. Most of them fall into B and C category, but these are a lot of different options, and this is only the pure Amarr ships. So if you want to progress through the pure Amarr tier, here you go. Have fun with it. I had a lot of fun testing this. I will, of course, in the future go over the other factions and the pirate factions. Hey, awesome if you made it this far. Please like and subscribe and follow me on Twitch. And thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.